Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, Sober Experience. You know the deal. Let's throw this thing into the stratosphere.
Don't get too cocky, my boy, no matter how good you are. Don't ever let them see you coming. That's the gap, my friend. You gotta keep yourself small, innocuous. Be the little guy. You know, the nerd, the leper, shit-kicking circle. Look at me. Underestimated from day one. You'd never think I was a master of the universe now, would you?
Nope.
It's like a throne that he don't even own. He won't sit down, give him a crown, he just throws it around. It's like a joke, he's like a king, but he don't rule a thing. He don't want the diamonds, want the gold, don't want the jewelry. He don't want the ring, don't want the loot, he's in it for the sport.
What's up, everybody? All right. Little Al Pacino, little Eminem on top of some Ghostface, my favorite Wu-Tang in the house. Man, it's freaking streets are melting out there, bro. Yeah, it's hot right now. It's freaking hot. You guys all know what I'm talking about. All of the vile, you know, what else can I call it? I just call it the vile. All of the hate that's out there, bro. It's pretty, yeah, it ain't good. I'll tell you that, it ain't good. And it's, you know, it's what, I can't say that it's whatever. I'm going to be like, oh, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, man, some of this stuff is like really touching home, you know? And there are people who are really drawing lines in the sand. Like hard body, like, you know, this is past, you know, Trump and crooked Hillary or whatever. This is about, like, you know, being questioned. Yeah, it's just being questioned. And people can't take being questioned. And I don't even know why people should be questioned. You know, I don't know, man. My parts of my life, and I've been doing my best to try to stay. I have not been doing a good job, but I've been doing my best to stay out of the fray as far as, you know, the war that's going on. You want to talk about, like, division and ego and megalomania and all of that stuff. It's actually very hurtful. You know, it's hurtful. You know, what can I say? You know, you could never be like a subject matter specialist. Like, we don't know what's exactly going on. We've surrendered to a world where you get information and you don't even know if that information is real or is it tainted or if it's not. And I'm sure there's people's blood's boiling now. They're like, they kidnapped children and men and chopped off 75 babies. They did all of that stuff. You know? Yeah. And then what have I learned in my life about a lot of things? Especially stuff like this, you know? Where if there's an opportunity, people can't wait to be angry and they can't wait to grandstand, and there is 1 gazillion Israeli flags all over my social media stuff, and there's 1 gazillion Palestinian flags all over my social media stuff. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And it's sad. You know, what do I know? I don't know. I know, you know, there's some obvious things that I do know. Okay? There's some obvious things that I do know. And maybe I'll share with you what I know to be truth to me. You know? What do I know? You know, I know that I've never felt more, you know, I never felt more unwavering love from people than I have from my Muslim and Middle Eastern friends. Like, bro, it's a lot, you know? And I live in that kind of neighborhood. And I am friends with people all over the spectrum. I have plenty of Israeli friends too, a lot of Jewish friends, whether they're Israeli, German, Syrian. I have a lot of Syrian Jew friends. I have a lot of friends who've been quiet for 5 years or 7 years on fake book. And as soon as this shit pops off, it's fucking on. And they're like, every day, they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know? And it's sad to watch that. It's sad to watch that. All of the never forget. That stuff. You don't have to tell us to forget. We ain't never going to forget as a Puerto Rican Jew. I promise we are never going to forget. You don't have to tell us never forget. We don't even have to tell each other never forget. We just ain't never going to forget. You know? But what does that really mean? What does that really mean? Right? It means that, for me, that we can never forget about humanity and that everybody's human and that everybody's capable. You know? Everybody. And I went to, I've been talking to some friends about this stuff and about what's going on over there. And not to get too heavy, but just really to share my experience. And here's some of the stuff that I know that's personal to me in my life, and maybe it's not everybody, but this is what I know, right? Like, you know, Jews are, you know, preservationists, if that's the right word. Same way, some similar Palestinians are the same way. You know, one of my boys, he married a Palestinian girl, and he is not Palestinian. And let me tell you, it did not fucking go well initially when their relationship, whatever. Bro, they were like in secret because, like, you know, the community wants to stay within that community. And Jews are the same fucking way. We are the same way. We're the same way. You know, my dad didn't marry a Jew. It was a stink to some people, you know. It was. And that was like in the 70s. And my mom is a Catholic. And when I was born, they converted me to Judaism. What do I know, right? I know that if you're born from a Jewish mom, you're automatically Jewish. This is what I know. But I was converted, I guess, in the nick of time. I don't know. I was supposed to be, or I am, the Jew, and my sister was the Catholic one. So my sister went to church. My dad made me Jewish. And that's okay. My dad, he don't even believe in God. But I went to Hebrew school. I went. Shul. You know, I did. And it was a reformed place. And I learned, I'd lost it by now. But when I was a kid, I could actually read and write Hebrew. I can read and write Hebrew. And I think I somewhat speak it a little bit. I learned. I went to school for years. For years. I don't know how many years. 5 years, 6 years. I don't know, 2nd grade to 7th grade. Yeah, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. Yeah, I went. And, yeah, we were reformed. But it didn't matter. And culturally, what did they always, talk to us about? They're like, bro, we were slaves, wandering the desert, Egypt, Moses, Holocaust, everything, you know? They taught us that not that we can't trust everybody, but we have to keep a watchful eye on everybody. because eventually it is going to be our turn on the wheel of misfortune again. And yeah. And there's anti-Semitism everywhere. And if you can, there's like strong recommendations. Like, if you could marry a Jewish person, you need to marry one. And if you're out there doing business or you're doing whatever, and if you can do business with a Jew versus do business with a Goy, like, do business with the Jew. You should. You got to stick with your own people. And they taught us that. And there was a lot of, you know, it was a big impression that they left on us that, like, dude, the world is going to come get you. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be self-reliant. You know, you can't trust anybody 100%. It's wild, bro. It's fucking wild, you know? And then they made, you know, the 6-Day War, all this stuff, right? We learn how to be really good victims in Hebrew school. We learn how to be really good victims. Now, I was raised in New York, in America, so they have selective stuff, you know, education, where they didn't want to teach us that, yeah, America didn't even let the Jews in either. That's why there's so many Jews in Argentina and other parts of the world, you know. They didn't teach us that stuff. They didn't teach us, yeah, how crazy America can be in its history, you know? So, yeah, that's my perspective. So, but as I got older, you know, I think for me, maybe because I was exposed to so many different cultures being in New York, and a lot of my friends, even my Jewish friends, like, you know, yeah, they're not, yeah, they've been exposed. Exposed is one thing. I guess maybe putting people in your life is another thing. And this is the thing that I was telling my boys. I was like, bro, I have a lot of Palestinian friends. A lot. I have a lot of Lebanese friends that were at my wedding. Egyptian, my boy Amr. I love him. So many people in my life, in my neighborhood, in my community, in my personal life. A lot of Muslims, a lot of Jews. I know personally that a lot of my Jewish friends do not have that same group of friends. They just don't, you know, so they like don't have exposure. But I believe that like it's on purpose. I'm like, dog, you don't have any friends from Palestine? I mean, I live in a part of Brooklyn where, like, bro, they had like Palestinian protests. They had when the Egypt shit, the Spring Rising was popping off, they were fucking having parades, you know, not like, oh, those 9/11 dancing in the street. None of that shit was happening. You know, the Arab community in our community, they're part of everywhere. The fire department, police department. They're Arab Americans, and they're beautiful people. And I fucking love them, man. I love them so much. So I take it a little bit personal when I hear my Jewish friends popping shit about people and a culture that they do not know. And it makes me angry. Because it's just propaganda. Similar to the propaganda that some of the, you know, that's on both sides, that some of the Arab countries use. You know, it's all propaganda. You know? So, for me, I have to say that, you know, when somebody was asking me about, like, bro, like, you know, right after the Hamas attack on Israel, like, you know, somebody was just, like, asking me about it. And I said, yeah, man, you can't kick the bear. You know? And then they said, who's the bear? I said, the Palestinians. You can't. You can't kick you know, you just can't. They're humans too. They're humans too. Now, there are people who will say that that's justifying murder of other people. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, you know, they had enough. They had enough, you know, and that's the truth. And it's tough, man. It's tough, you know, and the more you learn about the situation, how life, listen, even with Jews, like, bro, there's like prejudice even within our own religion, in our own culture. There's prejudice between Ashkenazi Jews and Sephardic Jews. There is. Nobody wants to talk about that. You know? Saying that, basically what I'm saying is that, like, Israelis and Jews are not perfect on any level. They're humans also. You know, and everyone's, you know, this is the shit that I hate, right? Like, Israel has the right to defend itself, has the right to defend itself. I agree. But guess what? Your fucking defense failed. You're supposed to have the highest everything, that you've been popping shit for forever. Forever. You've been popping shit. The fucking, you know, what is it? The Iron Dome, whatever it's called, the missile defense system, right? Then all the Israeli intelligence. Dude, they could have the Mossad, bro, hunting down fucking people wherever they are, and the Palestinians are right next door, behind the fence. Behind the fence. Planning. Ready to make their... If I was in Israel, I would be boycotting the government. I'd be like, bro, how did you not know? These people are, you know, they're not... Listen, they're not sand desert people. They're not stupid. But they don't have the sophistication, even with the backing of other... if allegedly, you know, because we give money to Palestinians too. We don't just give money to Israel. Don't let them fool you. Like, even with other countries that are supplying them with stuff, they don't have what Israel has. You know, I remember Ben Shapiro, they played a good clip where, you know, like, now we're running over there, right? When Ben Shapiro, it was only a few years ago, was like, yo, he said America doesn't have to defend Israel. Israel can defend herself. Dog, sleeping at the fucking wheel. These people had a mock city, apparently. And they were practicing this stuff. It doesn't excuse what they did. The ones that committed atrocities, horrible. You know, horrible. You know, and that's it. And there are also atrocities that happen inside Gaza that people don't want to talk about. Or a lot of people do, right? And there's, you know, that skirmish has been going on for so long. Every few years, some missiles go one way, some missiles go another way. What do the Israelis call it? Mowing the lawn, right? Meanwhile, the people of Gaza, they can't leave. You know, they're stuck there. They're stuck there. And their government takes all the money that is given there. And that's what's fucking sad. So when people are talking about 1948, 1970, whatever, they want to bring up all this shit to justify, you know, going in there and, you know, blanket. They're using human shields. That's, bro, I've heard that fucking story since I was 7 years old in Hebrew school. They've been saying that forever. They use human shields. I've heard that my whole life. Every time I hear it, I'm fucking repulsed. I'm repulsed. You know, I'm like, all right. They're not standing behind people like, oh, they put their stuff on purpose in hospitals and in whatever, in schools. You know, if you look in the media, there's no way to confirm or deny that. You're just going to have to believe it. Hey, well, you know what? If there's two bad guys and 75 kids on the same fucking block, it's okay. You know, we do the same shit. America does the same shit. Obama did the same shit. The same fucking thing. So many Iraqi and Afghan people are fucking killed. These guys flew a plane into our buildings. So we respond by killing. They killed 3,000 of ours. We killed millions of people. I shouldn't say millions. Maybe, I don't know how many. Definitely over 1 million. We kill 1 million for 3,000? That's, and you know, not even all of them the bad guys. It's so crazy. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So yes, Israel has a right to defend herself. And guess what? It fucking failed. I would be marching. I'd be going crazy. Like, dude, you guys supposed to be number one in the area, and these motherfuckers are coming through with bulldozers and propeller fucking gliders. Is that what you're telling me? And you're number one? Is that what really number one is? And then it takes 10 hours, 12 hours to respond? Is that what you're saying? It's so crazy to me. I was at the World Trade Center at 9/11. I was not inside the towers. I was half a block away, which is how many feet? Maybe 1 block. 1 city block. I was closer than people who are more mad about it than me. I was fucking there running for my life. And I'm telling you, it didn't take that long when we were out there running. Within an hour, there were fighter planes. We saw them flying over. We were like, woohoo! Like, going, like, just to whatever. That's the fucking truth. So these guys are there helpless for the terror. The terrorists are there like, dude, you know, we're taking women, children, babies, husbands. We're taking them all. They're doing whatever. Then I say to myself, this is just me asking questions, and I'm not even judging. I'm like, dog, everybody went to the military. You have to be in the military in Israel. You have to. Right? So you got to have some form of, everybody has some form of training more than Americans. So in my mind, I'm like, we have a country full of some form of training and at least how to use a weapon right next to, or right smack in the middle, allegedly, of all this enemy territory. I don't want to even get into that stuff. Like, you know, Abraham Accords. We were making peace over there, right? Donald Trump, right? Anyway, so everybody has nobody's without knowledge. And then all these people are in kibbutz and all these border towns. So you're border to the alleged enemies because they're so bad, but nobody's there with weapons to defend themselves. Nobody has a rifle in their fucking house, but these people who live a mile away and there's only a fence. It's a diesel fence, but there's only a fence in between the two of you, and you guys are you're not prepared to defend yourself. It just doesn't make any sense. It's fucking crazy to me. You know, at the same time, like they're already having problems over there because Bibi Netanyahu, like the government, it's supposed to be like a democratic government, and it's not. It doesn't function the same way ours does, and ours barely friggin' functions, you know. But they're Supreme Court and all this other. They don't have the checks and balances that we have. They don't have it. So it's crazy. You know, and I understand. Dude, the terrorist groups, they're fucking animals, bro. Hamas, Hezbollah, they're animals. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they're fucking animals. But they are not everybody. The IDF, they commit atrocities also. Everybody's silent about that. They believe that Israel has never, ever, 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 ever done anything to anybody. The perpetual victim shit that gets embedded. But the truth is, when there's conflict, innocent people are going to die. Children are going to die. It's fucking sad, bro. But everybody over here is a freaking keyboard warrior. Keyboard warrior. They're like, what do you think their message? What do you think about the anti-Semitism and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I'll read to you one of my paranoid, I wouldn't call him paranoid, he's my brother. But, you know, he was asking me about it. And what did I say? He says, how are you doing with all this Jew-hating madness? My response like, bro, I do not experience it in any way. I don't. I see bullshit online, but I leave it be. Yeah, I don't have that in my life. I don't have that in my life. And I live in a very Muslim-friendly community. There's a mosque around the corner. There's mosques down the street. You know, there's a lot of people from Yemen. So nobody wants to talk about that, right? Pakistan, Egyptians, yeah, Palestinians. Yeah, man. I live amongst them. And they're not the them. They're the us. So for me, I'm open-minded enough to know that I can feel sad for everybody. I do, man. What Hamas did was fucking horrible. And it broke my heart. What Israelis are doing now and are going to do is, in my mind, similar to what we did after 9/11. Oh, there's WMDs in the ground. We gotta go. We gotta blah blah blah. All of that. It's gonna go on. It's gonna go on. We're gonna fan the flames. Like, bro, we're going over there. Who the fuck are we to send an aircraft carrier over there? For what? For what? They're gonna straighten it out the way they always straighten it out. You know, and here's what's funny to me. Well, number one, right? 2 million people in Gaza, right? There's the government in Gaza, Hamas, terrorist organization. They're bad. In the West Bank, there is no Hamas. It's a different thing. I don't know why the IDF still fucks them up. I don't know why they still have limited rights over there. There's no Hamas over there. But there's got to be some reason, right? Wink. You know? That's sad. So, but what I do know is that there are people in those areas, similar to the people who are in Israel, that were just born into this madness. They had no part in the creation, but they are going to pay the price. They're going to pay the price. And that's what breaks my heart. They say more than half of the 2 million people in Gaza are 15 years and younger. That means all of the shit that they put on the fucking CNN and Fox News, and they start this war and this war and this war and this war, where Hamas attacked Israel and all this. No, that means 50% of that population was not even born when that was happening, and they have no way to walk out of there and be like, "Yo, this was my forefathers' shit, but I'm not about that life." They have no way. They're living below poverty. You know? Israel shut off the electricity, the water, whatever. Imagine if the other terrorists could do the same thing. But I think, you know, it's getting sticky because more and more people are, it's like all of this woke, super liberal stuff, it got so indoctrinated, it's so out of hand. And I'm saying this not in a way of picking, but I'm saying it as an example with like the super Me Too, LGBTQ plus IA, BLM, everything, right? All of that stuff. all of that progressivism got so progressive that now kids that are here, the international community, a lot, there's so much support for the Palestinian people. Nobody is supporting Hamas. But people are supporting the Palestinian people, and that's what I do. I support the Palestinian people. I don't support Hamas. Now, if they're going to go in there with all of their shit and remove Hamas and see where the chips fall afterwards, okay, I'm down for that. Does that mean you have to bomb every fucking block to do that? I don't believe so. But that's what they're going to do. And that's their thing. You know? And that's their thing. I don't blame the Palestinians for not leaving their land. That's their land. I don't blame them. Because every time, bro, they have that housing crisis over there now. Where people are being kicked out of their houses, the settlements, all that stuff. You know, when there's a problem, it's the same solution. Palestinians get more money, Israel gets more land. That's how the dice always roll, right? So the Palestinians, I'd be like, bro, if I run and then they fix and then they take out Hamas or whatever, if they fix this shit, how do I know I'm going to even get my little house back? When Israel has a history of taking the land. Now, you can dispute whether it's their land or not their land or whatever. That's fine. You can dispute that. You can argue that. I don't have all the information on that. But I can understand that why they wouldn't fucking break out. Like, dog, if we stay, we're going to die, but maybe we'll fight. I don't know. But if we leave, there's no guarantee that we'll have somewhere to come back to. You know? I know briefly with those Abraham Accords that they were trying to put all those other Arab countries together to actually help build up the Gaza Strip. You know, and make it into a functioning place. That's not completely... Gaza is dependent on Israel, 100%. They can shut off the lights any fucking time. It's crazy. And that's what I mean. There's no humanity for the innocent. It's sad. It's like, look, dog, I got white fucking skin. I laugh and I joke with my wife because she's a full-blown Puerto Rican boom shakalaka. She's everything. She got it all. I don't even... She's messing. I don't even want... I mean, I know why she's with me, but she could do better. But she's with the kid. You know what I mean? But it's like I have white skin, so I'm a white man. Now, I do not have any white guilt on any level. And I've spoken about this 1 zillion times. And I don't think any white person should have fucking white guilt. And when I hear about it, it repulses me. I am repulsed. I am repulsed. Because we should not be paying for the sins of our forefathers. That happened then. No one's saying it didn't happen. Now, we can help people of color in every way that we can. But I do not feel guilty on any level for having white skin. And I refuse to be persecuted for that. That's a fucking loser mentality. You know? That's a loser mentality. So, I do not believe in persecuting these people for what their forefathers did. 15 years old. More than 50% of that population is 15 and younger. Imagine that. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. You know? And my heart's broken. My heart is broken for those Israeli people that were dancing at that rave. You know, these animals, they set everything up right. I'm angry at the Israeli government. I'm angry at the IDF. The fact that that could even happen is not surprising that it could happen, but that it happened for so long, bro, are you kidding me? Israel technically is not a third world country. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. It's sad. More than that, I cannot believe the hate. I cannot believe the hate. You know. And being honest, a lot of it is coming from Jewish people. A lot of it that I see in my world. I see free Palestine. You know, and I understand. They're not talking about, they didn't say free Hamas, free terrorists. They said no, free Palestine. And if you cannot differentiate civilians from terrorists, like the civilians are literally being held hostage by terrorists in their own country. And they're going to pay the price. And they didn't do anything but just be born there. And that's what's fucked up. And that's what people, they lose sight of that. And it's sad. I don't have all the answers. What do I know? I just know how to love. I know how to love, man. I know how to empathize. So I've been doing really good at not getting involved in these tiffs online. But also being honest with my people. Like my friend that sent me that message, whatever. I told him. So my job is not to be like, free Palestine, free Palestine. That's not my job. My job is to talk with my own people. Jews are my people. They're my tribe. Everyone who walks the earth are my brothers and sisters. But my job, because Jewish people talk to me, they don't talk to people outside the community like that. The shit that I tell you about the way that we're like, I wouldn't say indoctrinated, but the way, the values that we're raised in, they ain't going to tell you that shit. They're not. You got to have an honest one that'll be like, yeah, bro. You know, there's plenty of, you know, there are. I'm not going to lie. I mean, they're so woke that they're like, they don't mind, you know, they're like the same way that there's people who have white guilt, there's people who have Jew guilt. That they're so woke that they're like, yeah, fucking Israel, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that, like, dude, Israelis are humans too. And that means that they're susceptible to both good and bad. They can't be all the way good. All of these videos from my whole life that I see of the IDF doing shit to civilians, it's crazy. Now, they released a video, I think the other day, of like some lady who was a hostage, and she came out, she said, no, they treated me nice, they did this, that. You can't even, it's sad that you can't even believe that lady. You can't. You can't believe that lady. She looked unharmed, but they released her on purpose, most likely, to be like, yo, you need to spread the good word, because if you don't, we're going to start killing these people here. That's just how it goes. It's like blaming, you know, I can equate it to like blaming Germans now. And the Germans are so great, they try to take over the world twice. That doesn't mean all Germans are fucking bad. You know, there's Germans that are good. Anyways, this is what I told my friend when he asked me about all the anti-Semitism madness. Like, bro, that's not in my life. The computer and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram is not real life. But it's meant to provoke. And then you carry that energy wherever with you. So anyway, so I told him, I said, I don't experience it in any way. I see bullshit online, but I leave it be. I know that people support Israel as like this. Wait, what did I say? I know that people support Israel as like the same way they support black people, which is in theory. They don't really support Israel. And you can see that now. We're talking about the woke people in all those universities who are all about, you know, they're not, none of them are even remotely affiliated or close to that conflict, but they're going fucking nuts on Harvard, and Cornell and all these places, all this where there've been, the woke paradise. I said, what I also know about most Israelis, what I also know is that most Israelis that I know personally will also put Israel before America, so I'm not surprised. And that's the fucking truth. People will find out how tough Israelis are, and they're the toughest people on earth. In a lot of ways, they fucking are, bro. So, sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. Like, listen, Israel would turn on America. I promise. If it felt it had to, it would. It fucking would. I'm telling you. And I would not be surprised. Anyway, so I said, I also have a lot of Muslim Palestinian friends, and they don't hate Jews. They don't. So I leave the propaganda where it is, and I don't trust the media in any way. Blah, 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 blah. And then my boy writes, I've watched this conflict for decades. Listen to your Hebrew school teachings. They will come for us. This is what he's saying. They're going to come for us. With the border, we don't know who is here, and our college campuses are breeding Jewish hate. Basically, if you aren't armed, do it, and if you are armed, be armed more. Whatever. I can't believe somebody's actually thinking like this. Meanwhile, he lives in the middle of fucking suburbia, New Jersey. That's where he lives. So far from any fucking anything. It's so crazy. Well, according to him, I'm behind enemy lines. Right? But all I experience is love in my life. So anyway, so I said, I went for my concealed carry this past weekend, which I told you guys I did. I said, and I'm honestly not scared of any of them. I said, they can come and it will be at their peril. I also know people personally who have been there, and there's propaganda on both sides. I know so many people who are like us, but they literally don't have two Muslim, Palestinian, Egyptian, or Lebanese friends. That's what I'm telling him. And I feel bad for people who were trapped in Gaza, being held by Hamas, which I just told you. About the same thing I just told you about the kids that are born there. Then I said, Trump had everyone in check. As soon as he bounces, Putin, right, invades, Hamas, and China is going to start their shit, but nobody wants to talk about that. And I said, step one is they need to go in there and liquidate Hamas, and I believe that. That's the only way the people will ever be free. And then I told him about the Kushner interview, blah, 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 which is also a very good thing. So what I'm saying is that if you don't have the balls to try to see yourself in other people, you ain't a child of God. I don't care if you're Christian, Muslim, Jew, anything. You are not. You are not. And that's the main thing. Similar to, I'll tell this story and then I'll break out. Actually, no, I'll save it for next time. But that's the whole thing. If they had exposure, if people had exposure, and the only way you get exposure, you can do it on purpose, is by letting down your fucking guard and going to try and understand and be a human being. Try and understand and be a human being. You can't be scared. You'll be shocked on how human everybody is. Yeah, we all go through the same stuff. And it's sad. And I personally, I think, if you're asking me about my assessment of the whole situation, I will say this. Number one, the story is that these terrorists, they've been planning this thing for 2 years. and they kind of lulled Israel to sleep. You know, and then all these, beatings at the mosque, this, that, and the third, all this other stuff. You know, they do a little shit here, a little shit there, but they've been planning this thing for a while. You know, and there's all these protests, hundreds. I don't even know. I sound like Trump. Millions and zillions and billions. But I know that there's thousands of people that were in the street protesting before any of this stuff went on in Israel because of the shit that's going on in their government there. You know, that's what I know. I know that, Trump and these guys are putting together the Abraham Accords. I know that the UAE was just about to be on board to, to recognize Israel, maybe do some commerce, and that's what Trump was trying to do. They were trying to dude, we can make some commerce, you guys can have some peace, whatever. So if UAE comes into those accords, Hamas really has this was like their last ditch effort because they're not going to have support because people don't have loyalty. They just have interests. Israel is interested in itself. Everybody's interested in the bread. The Palestinians, there's no opportunity for them with other countries. Like they don't see them, they don't gain anything by letting them in or helping. They just don't. That's why people leave them where they are, which is fucked up. That's just how it goes. So I believe that it's a huge intelligence failure that needs to be examined the same way we examined our intelligence failures after 9/11, right? The same way. There's a huge one over there in Israel on the intelligence side. I believe that this was Hamas's last ditch effort to be like, bro, we're gonna have to. I know we're gonna go out with a whimper, but we're gonna start with a bang. And I honestly don't think anybody on either side, number one, and then again the intelligence failures, the response failures, they should be ashamed of themselves, 1,000,000%, and I would hold the government accountable. I would. It doesn't mean they're responsible. The terrorists are responsible for the deaths. The government is accountable for your safety. That's why we should close the border here for a whole year. Just close the fucking thing. Don't even get me started on that. But yeah, the government is responsible for my safety. And if not, then I take my safety into my own hands, which is why I took that class. And I'm going to get a weapon. And that way, if some shit gets fucking crazy, I'm not going to be in my house with a butcher knife trying to defend my family of, one woman and 2 days. Then all of a sudden, again, I tell you, then gender is going to matter. Then I'm going to be a dad, Then I'll be a male, a fucking bro. They call it the bro Rogan, fucking bald white man. Then I'll be valid when somebody tries to run over our fucking neighborhood. Whether it's fucking the police, protesters, whoever. You can do whatever they want. They come up my fucking stairs, dog, I'm going to light them bitches up. And they can kill me when I'm done. It's okay. I lived a wonderful life. I love all of you. I love my family. And I've had a great ride. But I ain't going to fucking lay down. I promise. I won't. I will not. So, I think, I also think that, everybody's surprised on the support that the Palestinians are getting all over the earth. You want to talk about evolution? In my lifetime, I never would have thought I would have seen the day. So there's a lot more people who are growing with love. And I mean that you can support Palestinians, and not hate Jews. And you can support Israel and not hate, and support Jews and not hate Palestinians or Muslims. Because that's how I am. I support humans. you know? And that's the truth. Anyway, hope you guys try and spread some love wherever you are, however you are. We'll see you guys next week. And I love you. Peace.